going to start just by chopping up some of these ingredients so you actually see some knife work. When I did this other places, I brought everything ready, chopped up, and it's really quick, you know? But we have a half an hour, so let's use it. You always want a nice sharp knife, otherwise you're just working against yourself.
He cuts hair on the
Yeah,
weekend.
Justin's very fast with a knife. You might want to count your fingers when you leave.
So we did the 7 C's, and actually when I was making the recipe, it just happened to come at everything I was putting in the recipe started with the letter C. So let's call it the 7 C's, and people think of the ocean, and it's the letter. You know, it's a little play on words there. But we're just doing zucchini and squash. So I got my zucchini right here, and all this is summer stuff, pretty much. So right now you go to the market, you see beautiful zucchini, beautiful squash, beautiful corn, beautiful tomatoes, especially here in Woodland. Okay, do some squash. You know, we were getting some out from Matroni Farms. We've been getting whatever local we can, you know. Tullamore, we've been using this a lot in a lot of our recipes lately.
And why would you not?
It's, you know, it's a fabulous whiskey, and I was going to use some Bullet or something on one of the ones I did the other day, and I'm like, wait, why am I doing that? It's Irish whiskey. Let's stay with the Irish. Okay.
So if anybody has any questions while Justin is
please feel free.
Please raise your hand. We'll grab a question.
Are there bathrooms over here?
How about a garbage?
No.
How about a garbage? Or just, can I use one of these bowls? Okay. And like I said, all this stuff is pretty much in season right now. I mean, I don't know if any of you bought corn at the store this year, but it's beautiful. Whether you get the sweet white corn or the yellow corn, you can't go wrong.
By the way, it tastes much better like this than it is opening up a can.
Oh yeah, well, we're so spoiled here, and especially in Yolo County, with having this produce right at our beck and call. It'd be a sin to open a can with this stuff, you know. Then I had to keep it Louisiana style, so I got some okra, because you know, it's succotash. I'm like, well, what else can we put in there? Well, let's do some okra then. So just a nice thin slice on the bias with this. Go on, fly. You're not welcome.
Ready.
You know, I have some cooks that work with me that haven't been cooking that long, and when they see me cut something up like that, they're always, how do you do that so quick? Well, if I'm just rubbing this up against my finger, you're never going to cut yourself. I could look at you guys all day and do this, and I'm never going to cut myself because I'm rubbing it up against my finger. Okay. Some cherry tomatoes here. Look at those. Aren't those just, the color and everything, it's just beautiful. Hey!
Not level ground.
What's that? We do have a farmer's market in Woodland every Saturday. I believe it's from 9 to 2, and or 9 to noon. It's at the Woodland Library. And I'm not sure, but we used to have it Tuesdays over at Dignity Health at Woodland Memorial in the parking lot on Tuesdays also.
What'd you do to your burger? There's an X.
So this is actually a 2-pan dish. You make your protein and your sauce in one dish, and you do your vegetables in another, like a lot of dishes. This is Salvadorian chorizo right here. So Spanish chorizo is very hard, not as much fat in it. Mexican chorizo is soft like this. This is kind of in between. So it's almost along with Nisa, but it's not. But just the Salvadoreño has been the nicest for me lately, and it's the best price actually. I got this at Del Valle Mexican Market or La Superior. if you get it. But any Mexican market you go in, and they'll have probably 3 or 4 different chorizos, depending on if you want beef or pork. Like I said, this stuff, I got it the one time and I was like, oh, this is perfect, you know? Not only that, when I went back, I was like, well, let's look at the prices, and this happened to be the cheapest, so I was like, yeah, let's go with that.
Is he going to be
Salvadoreño is called.
going to be serving? Yeah, between.
And they come in these cute little, they're just so cute. But all I'm going to do is split the casing. Get one of these going here. Woo, that got some power to it. So all we're doing with this, you don't have to oil your pan or anything first. Just put your chorizo in, because trust me, there's a lot of fat. You'll see how much oil comes off of this. Okay? Cover that back up. Let's see what else. I was using English peas, because actually when I came up with this recipe, it was just the end of spring, and the English peas were still really beautiful. But I got some sugar snap peas, because that was what was available, and they were nice. So. These, same thing, I don't have to blanch them or anything. Same thing with the corn. I'm just going to do such a quick saute on it that you don't really need to blanch it or anything. Otherwise, you're just going to get your stuff overcooked. Especially, you see how everything, that's why I did the zucchini so small too, because everything's small, so it cooks really quick. But succotash, traditionally you'll have lima beans in it, which fava beans and lima beans are also spring produce. So this is one of my pet peas right here. I don't mind cleaning prawns. I hate cleaning peas, especially fava beans. They're the worst because you have to shuck them twice. You get them out of their pod, blanch them, then you have to do them again.
And your sous chef happens to be at the restaurant right now.
Yeah. So I just break this up a little bit. You know, you don't have to cut it up before you put it in. It's going to get smashed up, and I'll put it into the sauce anyways. Okay? Get some English peas. What next? You guys see all these? Yeah, I don't need the cabbage. I'm not doing that, but. You guys see all these different dishes up here? So pretty much anything you make in the kitchen, salt and pepper are your friend, always. I have this Cajun spice that we make in-house. I can tell you what goes in it, but I have to take you back to the restaurant. Then you're gonna have to work. But there's about 17 herbs and spices in here. Not KFC, they only use 11. We have garlic and we have chipotle puree. This is out of the can, through a food processor into this. It didn't do anything to it. Didn't add any water, didn't add any season to it, didn't add anything to it. You guys see I'm already getting some color on that, but look at all that oil that came off of that, just that little piece, you know? So I don't know about you guys, but I don't want that going in my body. And at the restaurant, I would take my time to render this nice and slow, strain it, let it strain, get all that out. But you guys can see just right there. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do, this one gets some of the corn. Corn goes in both of these, and why not? Corn's so good, so sweet. So we got a little corn in there. This has so much flavor in this chorizo. We don't need a lot of seasoning here. I'm just going to do a tiny bit of Cajun on it. Okay. Then we're going to hit this with a little garlic. And we're actually going to do this with, when we saute this, garlic will go in both, whiskey will go in both. So hit it with the garlic. You don't want your garlic to burn, otherwise it'll get real bitter. It kind of gets that flavor when you buy that already minced garlic that's been sitting in your fridge for 2 months and nobody's touched, and you open it and you get that smell. You get that flavor when you burn your garlic.
So when you do this at home, make sure you do this at night, because this is the fun part.
Yeah. You know, we are cooking, so we use fire. My daughter's 6, she helps me in the restaurant sometimes, and she'll come and she'll be like this with the salt and pepper, and she always knows, when you season stuff, you always go salt and then pepper. You don't want to put I don't want my salt to look black. Not only that, that's just the way I was taught. you never forget that way. Did I season that? No, I put salt and then pepper, always. But she gets scared of the fire. She's like this. And I'm like, honey, if you're going to be a chef, you're going to be in the kitchen, you can't be scared of the fire. You know, we're cooking. We're not putting together a salad. We're cooking, you know, so you got to have fire. We have this lovely Clover Sonoma cream. I try to use as much organic stuff when it's pretty much it's a price thing. You know, it's not that I can't get it or that it's a price thing, because some people, we're moderately priced, so I can't charge $38 for this dish, this venison dish that I want to do really nice and stuff like that. So I have to keep my costs down on some things. Put a little cream in there, and you can see how quick it's already starting to thicken up. Okay? Is there all this? Okay. And you can see from the tree, so it's already given it a nice orange color. And these crawdads that have been cooked and cleaned, they're cooked in Cajun spice also, so they have that red color. I mean, they have red color if you boil them with any by themselves, but with the Cajun, it gets that dark red in there too.
But you have the chipotle at the end, or?
I'm going to put the chipotle in right now, actually, and that'll also help thicken it. And I'm doing a small batch, so depending on your taste buds, you heat, but this also gives it a nice smoky flavor. Right. The one thing on this, I tell my chefs is, don't put your crawdads until the last minute, because they're just going to turn like little bullets, and you're going to be chewing them and stuff. And I got bad enough teeth anyway, so. All right, so we pretty much got that ready to go. We're going to toss the crawfish in it right at the end. So now let's get some power on this, baby. We have this beautiful Buckeye olive oil that we use here at the restaurant. We use a lot of their vinegars, a lot of their different oils, award-winning, right out of Dunnigan.
Shady over here.
Jim Nelson, I believe his name is. He's a great guy. He gives a great deal, actually. He comes by the restaurant, brings me a case every once in a while when I need it. And we trade him for gift certificates for the restaurant. What's that? Extra virgin. This is actually the Fanteo. You can come up here and check it out once I get it open. And of course, extra virgin has a lot lower smoke point. And luckily, he brought me a very nice burn, because sometimes when you do these demonstrations, you're like, is there any flame? It's high as nothing. This is like, wow, cool. Let's get this done right away for you guys.
Yeah, it's my little rocket engine.
Yeah. Okay. So everything except for the tomatoes I'm going to throw in here. We'll throw the tomatoes in last, because they just need a quick saute. But everything else can go right in at the same time. Okay. Like I said, this one has a lot of flavor with the chorizo and everything in it, so I hit that with Cajun spice. This one I do salt, pepper, Cajun.
It's almost like a wok.
Yeah, it's almost like a wok. It's awesome, actually. Like I said, this is we do the same thing with this one at the end. What I like to do is I hit it with my garlic. Just get that sauteed just a tiny bit. You can smell it right away when it hits you. Right when it hits the corners of the pan, you can smell it. Then we do the same thing with the whiskey.
Lots of whiskey.
Yeah, we cook a lot with whiskey. We drink a lot of it, actually, too. Okay. Now I'm going to throw my tomatoes in. You can see that's just a beautiful, nice summer ragu. Okay? So let's go ahead and get some of this crawfish in here. That's hot. Alright, might as well use it all, huh? Do a little more cream. I was going a little less because we didn't have as many people. Now we got some people showing up. Thank you all for coming out here and listening to my lame butt.
Just remember, when you're doing anything with like salt or anything, it's hard to take it out
you can't take it out. You can add other stuff to try and balance it out. A lot easier to just go a little at a time. You can taste and taste and taste and taste. You know, usually I have a big stack of spoons, and for me to even keep spoons in it at work, it's like, hey, you guys, I need tasting spoons, because all day, and I tell my cooks and chefs over and over again, do you taste it? No, why not? Do you taste it? That's what we're doing. We're cooking. We always taste. You always taste your food.
So like there's no recipes.
That needs some salt, definitely. We'll do a little more Cajun, because I want it to have some food in it. I don't want you guys going over here and eating these other people's food and be like, man, that Father Patty's food was bland, no flavor, you know?
Is that pasta in here?
Yeah.
But,
And what's it called?
all right, so we got our succotash right here. Go right there. We'll put it.
Yeah, very good.
And of course, it's the crawdad festival, so you can't have it without the crawdad. And you see how that sauce isn't a thick gravy. It's just a nice, thin, creamy sauce.
Beautiful. That presentation was pretty.
Can you see this? A couple weeks ago we made a crawdad.
That's what people think about cold soup. There's two words that really don't usually go together, and it kind of throws people off.
I had a lot of people ask yesterday, gazpacho, what's that? You know, and ours is actually more Mexican than it is Spaniard. It's more along the lines almost of a ceviche, except the shrimp's not cooked in lime.
But I tell you what, on a hot day, this is really good.
Don't be shy, folks. Come on up, get some.
Yeah, come on up and grab some real quick.
Don't get any if you're allergic to shrimp, though.
Yeah, the gazpacho's been, it's okay. It's got,
While Justin's cooking, you can come up here and see what's going on, because it's hard to see sometimes inside the pans what he's doing.
yeah, don't snitch out of the pan though, it's hot.
But I'll tell you what, on a hot day, and we do have recipe cards up here, and I'll guarantee you, if you go by this recipe exactly, it tastes just like that. I actually tested both of these recipes out 3 weeks ago at a beer and food pairing that I did in Santa Monica, and the crawfish succotash was the hit. That smells good.
So, what I'm making here is actually all crawdad meat. So they've already been cleaned, so you don't have to pinch the head and suck the tail or any of that or whatever they do.
So how you doing?
Yeah, something like that. That's what I heard around there.
Is it thighs or what?
What's that?
Crawdad thighs or wings?
Their tails. Okay, we're gonna go to get started. A lot of times when you watch a cooking show, these chefs, they have everything already prepped in front of them for them. That's kind of nice. But for this purpose right here, you know, I have an hour and I'm only making one dish. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my time and show you guys how to cut it up. If you don't have good knife skills, you know, you could use a mandolin or something. The main thing is, I don't care if it's super small or super big. You just want them kind of all the same size. Otherwise, this is gonna cook and the other stuff's not gonna be cooked. This is a really fun summer dish. And when I came up with this recipe, I started noticing that almost everything that was going in the succotash was started with the letter C. So I said, well, let's call it the seven. How many C's we have? Let's call it the 7 C's, and people will think of the ocean, kind of little play on words. And oh, what's C? No, it's like Sesame Street, the letter C. You know. Okay. So I have zucchini. All these vegetables I'm going to prep right now. These are just for the succotash. So it's going to be a 2-pan deal. We're gonna render off some chorizo. We're gonna hit it with garlic, chipotle, the crayfish, and cream. So that's gonna be my protein and my sauce, and then the succotash is gonna go in another dish. That'll be all my vegetables. It's almost the same thing. We hit it with our seasoning, our Cajun spice, some garlic, and some tomo too. Gotta have whiskey. We're Irish, so we gotta have it whiskey, and we gotta put our play on it somehow to make it fit us too. We're in a bank building on the corner of Main and College, built in 1903. And the original bank vault we've turned into a whiskey vault, whiskey tasting room. Every other month we do a whiskey pairing dinner with whatever one we're featuring that time. Last time it was actually Jack Daniels, and then this other week we had beer fest. So actually instead of doing a whiskey dinner, I did a beer dinner. So we had a 4-course meal paired with the beers. It's a lot of fun. It gives us chefs and my sous chef a chance to play around with stuff and not be stuck to that same menu and come up with some really nice specials that, play with it, So when I got asked to come work for Father Patty's, I said, well, what the hell do Irish people do? I had no idea, and it's all cooking. It's all a lot of the same techniques, whether you doing French cooking, Italian cooking, it's cooking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the whiskey vault. There's, I think it's over 70 different whiskeys in there. Not just Irish. There's also Scotch and American whiskey in there too.
Yeah.
And Pat is the one she's over there. He's the guy that looks like a leprechaun.
But don't tell him
He
that.
really does. Somebody said he looks like Hellboy too, but we won't. But Pat does the whiskey seminar to tastings. And he's extremely knowledgeable. Matter of fact, I do the Scottish Games here, and I actually have him next year doing our whiskey tasting, which is that good.
If you've ever been on a nice wine tasting like in Napa or something, which he took me Monday actually, me and my sous chef, we went to go see, went to the Castle of Love, went to the marketplace, went down to Farmstead, did a nice field trip, If you ever been on a nice wine tasting, it's pretty much like that. It's the same thing, but you're tasting whiskey.
Gotta have okra.
Gotta have. So this was a way to tie Louisiana into it. Okra, you see fried okra, you see it in the gumbo, you see it in everything. So to make it more Cajun, not only did I have my Cajun spices, actually, KFC does I think 11 herbs and spices. It's actually 17. I can tell you all that goes in there, but then I'll have to have you come work with me. But so we're gonna do okra. We're just gonna slice it thin on the bias. The one thing about okra, it kind of reminds me a lot of, we don't use it a lot here in Woodland. Do a lot more Mexican cooking in Woodland, actually. I've never worked with okra. I've worked with nopales a lot, and then I worked with this, and I was like, it's almost just like nopales in a cactus, and it does have a tendency, once it's in your dish, to get a little slimy.
Yeah, it's a natural thickening agent.
Yeah. That's why they use it in gumbo, to thicken it. The corn right now, especially in Yolo County, we're just so spoiled here with the produce that we're available to get here. I don't know any different because I've always lived here my whole life, but I see some shows and stuff, and I see them can stuff. Why would you do that? It's there, use it. Especially right now, this is all summer stuff. So if there's someone that's growing this, they're probably growing this too, because it all right now in season. People have asked me before, what do you like to cook? What's your specialty? Whatever. Man, if I had to stick to one thing, it's like, what's your favorite song? You know what I mean? How could I say? What time of the day is it? Who are we cooking for? What's the event? What's the season? I would hate to be like, I just make this. I would hate that.
Yeah, it's really funny. They talk about Sacramento being the farm-to-fork capital of the world, but actually they forget that the farms are actually here, not in Sacramento. Yeah, we are pretty blessed about what the farms that we have in this area. It's amazing, amazing produce.
Randy, I think they put Sue in a timeout. He's over here. Randy, the corner? In the corner here?
When I first did this recipe, I was using English peas, but it was right at the end of spring, and you could actually get them in the stores. Now you can't get them, so I've been using sugar snap peas lately. But I've been kind of lazy, so I bought some already done that my sous chef did for me. So. Now, when I do the vegetables for a succotash, all of this can go in the pan, nice and hot pan at the same time. The only thing I put in at the end is the tomatoes and the garlic. Once you put your garlic in, you don't want it to burn. It'll get that bitter flavor. You get that pre-mixed stuff that you buy in a jar and it sits in your refrigerator for 3 months, and when you open it, it's kind of like, you know? When you burn your garlic, that's what will happen. It'll get bitter like that. It'll get that smell, you know? I always put my garlic in towards the end, and especially if I'm going to deglaze the pan, I always hit it, toss it just a tiny bit. You can smell it right away. As soon as it hits the side of the pan, you can smell it. Then you're going to deglaze it. Okay. The tomatoes, it adds a nice brightness to it. Not only that, it adds a lot of color, and it keeps it in the theme of being a summer dish. Now, the other thing when I started making this dish, I was, oh, what kind of chorizo do I want to use? Spanish chorizo is very hard, like salami almost, and you can cut up and julienne it, and there's not a lot of fat in it. I ended up getting this chorizo, and when I went back to get it again, I was like, well, I don't know, but why did I like that so much? Well, I like this one kind of cute, nice, small, kind of cute. But this is actually called Salvadoreño chorizo. So it's kind of in between a hard and a soft. It's somewhere along the lines of longanisa more. But when I went and I was happy with it when I made the dish, and I came back to buy some more, and I looked at the price difference, and this was the cheapest one. I was like, perfect. Yeah, that works. And this chorizo is kind of funny. You'll actually get big lumps of lard in there. You see that? It's not bad. So just like if you were going to do some bacon or sausage or something like that, which it is sausage, you're just going to want to render some of that fat out. So we'll get this going on there. Okay.
Yeah, this is blast furnace.
He thinks we're doing Chinese cooking. He wants to walk up here. That's bad. That is some power right there. I'm surprised it's like not a stock pot on here or something.
That's what I usually use it for.
If you're allergic to shellfish, if you have different dietary needs or something like that, this is a great dish that you can do vegetarian, minus the protein and minus the cream, and you can have it vegan. Very simple. If I did it that way, if I didn't use the chorizo, I would put more chipotle and more Cajun, just add a little more kick to it, you know? I don't know. I'll show you how much, just this little bit, that's almost just like bacon. You'll see how much fat comes off of this. If I was doing it at this restaurant, I would do it slow and low and let it go for a long time and get as much fat out of it as I could, and then I would strain it. I don't know where I'm supposed to put my grease here, but for ease of doing this in front of people, what I've done before is just get a dry towel and kind of put it to one end and damp it. You know, and I'll show you guys what I do and how much comes off of it.
Yeah, you get quite a bit out of it.
Did you add bacon to the recipe?
You know what? There is rashers in the other recipe, in the recipe you have right here. The one thing I'm not making here that I didn't have time to do also was I served this with a potato cake. Because we're doing, for Louisiana, you have to do something fried. I don't have a deep fry out here, and we're doing it over here, so I'm like, we'll just skip the potato cake today. But what I actually did was a very traditional Irish starch is cold cannon. And all cold cannon is mashed potatoes with cabbage. We also have champ. Champ is mashed potatoes with green onions. It's just a different version of mashed potatoes. So I thought, okay, well, how do I keep it Irish and still do something fried? Well, let's do a potato cake. Not only that, but being Mardi Gras and stuff, I wanted to do purple. So I got some purple potatoes and purple cabbage. I cooked my purple cabbage in cream that I'm going to add to my mashed potatoes to make my potato cake. And when you boil purple potatoes, they have a tendency to come out gray, especially when you add cream to them. Well, if I get my cream purple without food coloring, with natural coloring like cabbage, then I'm all along the right line. It comes out nice and purple. And you make a dry mashed potato. You know, if you're gonna make a nice creamy, buttery mashed potato, don't put as much butter and cream in it. Put a little egg, some breadcrumbs. I put bacon in it because who doesn't like bacon? And you can just bread it like with panko, like you would bread a piece of chicken or something. You know, a little egg wash and some panko breadcrumbs. Fry it nice and crisp on the outside, nice and tender and soft on the inside, just flavorful.
You probably want to put it in the refrigerator after you make a patty with it. Kind of put it in the refrigerator for maybe an hour or so, just let it stiffen up.
Yeah, because if not, you're going to put it in your fryer, and all of a sudden your fryer's going to be real dirty, and you won't have no food left. It'll be all in it.
I know that happened to me.
And actually, if that does happen, add a little more egg and breadcrumbs. That's all you can really do. So you can see that was only 2 of those small sausages, and look how much is already coming out of that. See that?
So on the potato, wondering about the color purple in there. There's another reason for that. Purple is also one of the colors for Mardi Gras. So it just kind of adds a little bit extra to it. Yeah, that's all what it went into you.
Title, get that
Don't
out.
tell anybody, but I cheated over there. I took the fat out, I rendered all the fat out, and the sauce, it needs a little thickening when I make a big batch like that. When you do this one pan at a time like that, you don't really need the thickening agent. For doing it in a big batch, I needed something to thicken it with. So I rendered all the fat off of it, and I strained it, and I took the fat and made it glue with it. So I put the fat back with it. Don't tell anyone.
It's all flavor anyway.
Yeah, it's all flavor.
When you do it like that, it's really all flavor.
Okay, so chorizo's about ready. Now I actually put corn in both of these, in the protein part and the succotash. So we're gonna hit it with the little corn.
Is it yellow corn or sweet corn?
Chipotle. Very smoky. It's a smoked jalapeno. You buy the little can of chipotle. All I did with this was put it in a food processor and blended it. That's it. A little bit of that gives it a nice little back heat, not that heat where you eat it and you're like, oh God, that's hot. You want to get the hiccups right away. This is you just have a nice subtle back heat to it. Like I said, I have this Cajun spice that we make in-house. I actually came up with this rub. Me and one of my cooks, we came up with this rub the one day because I had to make chili. And I had to make chili in probably about 2 years. And I was like, well, let's make some chili. Okay, well, where do we start? Well, let's make a rub. So I made this rub and I've been putting on everything since that, huh?
It is that good though.
So we got the Cajun, little salt, little pepper. And as I'm doing this, and if you're not comfortable at your house, go light. You can't take it back out. You can always add more. It's very hard to take it back out or adjust it after that. Once you've got too salty. Not only that, if you're tasting your food and you're not sure, have somebody else taste it. Because once you taste something, if you're tasting it, I like to call it a flavor vortex. You kind of, everything just kind of gets muddled. You know what I mean? And it's like, we need someone else. Hey, but does this need a little salt? Does this need that? And that doesn't mean you're a bad chef or a bad cook. That means that everybody's tastes are different. You know what I mean? They really are. Okay, so we got that going. We're gonna hit it with a little bit of garlic. Of course, whiskey, because we're Irish. Let that deglaze a little bit. We might get some flame on that. We'll get flame on that one, watch. They like it, especially when you're doing cooking. They want to see flame. You know?
Especially at night. It's really cool at night.
Oh, yeah. Or if you're just using something like with a real high alcohol content, like Pernod or something. Oh man, I remember the one guy at my work, we'd have like 6 saute pans going, you know, Friday night jamming, and he'd be all, and he'd start doing all his pans right, and so you look and the whole freaking line would be like that. Then he'd be grabbing the bottle and going like this down the line. I was like, yeah, expensive that stuff is stop. But he's like, yeah, everything's on fire. And so we're just gonna hit this with a little cream. I try to use local as much as possible. A lot of times what makes the difference for me, is usually the price actually, because we're actually a moderately priced restaurant. So, you know, if I'm doing a venison leg medallion or something like that, I'm not trying to charge people $38. I'll do a smaller portion, a 7-ounce portion, and charge them $22 because I want them to. If you're coming to our pub, it's not that hoity-toity. It's bistro type feel. Come in after work in your work clothes. You know what I mean? Comfortable. A pub is actually the original Facebook. Okay, so let's go and get this one nice and hot. We'll turn that baby up.
Something that Justin said at one of the whiskey dinners that we did, and actually I think you said it at a couple of them, but it really caught on to me is the fact that they're not just making a meal, they're making a memory. So
Yeah,
it's really cool.
When I'm doing this, it's for people like yourselves. Thank you all for coming out today. Or whether I'm cooking at the restaurant, I'm cooking for my daughter or my mom at home or something. A lot of part of what cooking and eating, it'll bring you back to that certain spot. I don't know if you guys have seen Ratatouille, where he tastes it and it's like, it takes him back right there. I still smell fresh ground nutmeg and think of my grandma's French toast. My one grandma was like, awesome cook. I didn't spend that much time with her. I never really did because she had a lot of grandkids. My other grandma, we were her only grandkids. She was a horrible cook. She sucked. But her French toast was very, very good. But I still will be making something with nutmeg these days and get it on my microplane and smell it. And so I feel my grandma. So what I was saying with that, when we're cooking for people like yourselves, or when we're cooking with people, you create memories. You really are, and that means a lot to me. We have this beautiful olive oil. I get this all from Jim Nelson from Dunnigan, Buckeye Creek in Dunnigan. They do all award-winning olive oils, vinegars. It's all processed out at Seca Hills. We get such a good deal from him. He comes and he sells us the olive oil, and we pay him in gift certificates, so the money comes back to us anyways.
That's a great deal.
That's a really, especially for how good this stuff is. I can't get better, not at that price. You know? But like I said, I try to use local whenever possible, as much as possible.
Yeah, you'll see that a lot at in any of the Woodland restaurants.
And you can see
they really go local.
It's extra virgin, so it's got a very lower smoke point. So as soon as it's smoking, but we're good. We want it hot. We want it nice and hot. And like I said, all this right here, we're just gonna throw all in one pan at the same time. Nice and easy. Okay. That's sauteing. There it is. Get that on there. Again, the Cajun spice. Little salt. Fresh ground black pepper. Almost all of my spices that I use, I get whole and I grind myself. If not, I'm ordering them. They're grinding them to when I order them. Every day we grind our own pepper at work. Every single day. A few times I've caught the cooks with the server's table pepper that they use to fill their salt shakers, and I can tell right away when I look at it. Oh, what is this? Rice and pepper.
So you always do salt first, then pepper.
You know what? That's just the way I was taught. Not only that, but if you go like this, and then you touch that, look at my salt now. You know? Even my daughter, she's 6 years old, she works on the line with me sometimes. Like, I treat her like a normal employee. I'm like, come on, you can't be scared of the fire. I tell her, you have to season that. She always knows. You grab the salt first and the pepper. You always do it that way, you don't forget, did I season it? Did I pepper? Did I salt? Always salt, then pepper. That's the way I was taught. You guys want pepper and then salt?
Now, would you prefer kosher salt, or do you prefer regular?
I almost always use kosher salt. Every once in a while I'll use some sea salt or some nice like Himalayan finishing salt or something like that, you know. But mainly in cooking in the everyday kitchen, fresh ground black pepper, kosher salt. I like Diamond Crystal a lot actually. That or Morton's. So we'll get already some nice color on this. It's not getting overcooked yet, just some nice color. Same thing, we're gonna hit that with garlic. I'm gonna go and throw my tomatoes in right now also. The tomatoes need a little seasoning, so let's go to that, a little more salt for that. And again, the whiskey, because we're Irish. Not only do we like to drink it, we like to cook with it too. There's Well, that's getting hot. I'm gonna go put a little more heat to this.
Justin, does it matter if you use yellow corn or sweet corn for the recipe?
You know what? That's what I'm using, yellow. I made it the other day, and for on the news on my 58 on Friday, and I didn't know I had to be there at 8 in the morning, so I hadn't ordered any of my produce till that night, and I didn't know what time my produce company was going to show up. So I went shopping at like 1 in the morning over in Sac on like R19. I just grabbed what they had. It was white corn, but the corn is so nice right now. I don't care what farm you're getting it from or what, you just can't go wrong with it. It's just the season.
I always say that I'm
Now
just
the most important part, can't forget the crayfish. Now you see, I already got my sauce all nice and thickened. These are already cooked. You cook them too much more, they're going to be a little hard, chewy bullets. We're just going to put a little bit of that in there. Oh, we got some more people, maybe a little more for you guys, huh? Yeah, you guys look hungry. Oh, I love your shirt. This is actually my brother from another.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm the president of your fan club, but I can't because your brother's here. So he's actually president.
He's all, I already had that.
But one thing I can tell you about Justin is we do every year a tomato festival right here in Woodland. I think it just happened a couple of weeks ago. When Justin was competing in that festival, he's won every single year. The only time he didn't win, when he didn't compete, he actually got him as a judge one year because, well, you won so many times, how about being a judge? But you have something cool because your sous chef did something really cool.
Yeah, so this year, actually last year, a while after we did it, and we've only been open at this restaurant about a year and a half. Me and my sous chef, we worked together about 3 days and we just clicked. He's a great guy, and I'm blessed to have him. He was actually doing a family reunion, and he was in Las Vegas, and he went to one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants. And he said, oh, I went to Gordon Ramsay's burger, blah, blah, today. I said, cool, take any pictures of the menus you can, or take any menus. I said, not only that, but start thinking about what you want to do for the tomato festival, because I'm not competing this year, you represent the restaurant. And he took it and went and made this Scandinavian menu, and the thing I like the most about his menu is all stuff that I would not have done at all or even thought of. And he executed it, him and the owner of my work, his daughter is actually our full-time pastry chef and baker. So it's a 3-course meal. He did the first 2 courses, she did the dessert. He's 22, and he was going up against people that were in their late 30s and early 40s. And he took number first place. And like a proud parent, I'm like, yeah, I'm so proud of him. But it was definitely cool to see our number 2 take first, and that we still got the title right there. But all I had to do is sit back.
That'll tell you if you ever go to the restaurant, which you got to go to the restaurant, that'll tell you what you're going to get.
We have live music Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. No cover charge. Totally family friendly. When I was doing this a while back, I was using, I don't know if any of you've ever seen them, they're called watermelon radishes. They're so cool looking, they look like watermelons. So what I was doing was I was slicing them nice and thin, and then I wanted to keep with the Irish theme, so instead of using like black sesame seeds, I'd use black caraway. And you put those on there, and it looks like the watermelon seeds. It's super cool, little just kind of fun garnish. I don't have any of those today, so I'm just going to garnish it with some chives. I think on the recipe actually I have thyme in there. I didn't have any time for my time today. So, but something great, just something to finish it off with little chives, make it pretty. You see the sauce, I didn't have any roux or any flour in this, but the sauce thickened up on. I would love for you guys to come up, have at it, taste it, let me know how it is. It's funny, I'll look at some recipes and I'm like, wow, why are you doing this at the restaurant? I'll look at the recipe, I'm like, who made this recipe? Oh wait, that was me, sorry. Well, yeah, we're gonna change it. Thank you. Yeah, I would just go 1, 2, 3, and that way you could kind of mix your sauce and get a little crunch in there, because it kind of needs something a little crunchy.
Don't forget to get in line so I can get you.
And we will be making this until we run out. Yesterday we ran out within like not even an hour over there. It was everybody. Yeah, that's all everybody wanted was. I guess you know when you're at a product festival, you want to eat products. And we're selling the gazpacho over there. We have bangers on a bun with Jameson onions. It's caramelized onions that we finish with Jameson whiskey. We serve that with a house mustard. Our house mustard it's whole grain Dijon mustard, some brown sugar, horseradish, and Guinness beer. So you get a banger on a bun, you're getting actually some whiskey and beer. But like I said, even if you're a vegetarian, you want to do this with chicken, you want to do this with some shrimp, any protein, you could do this with pork, whatever. The chorizo and the corn and the chipotle, it's got that sweet, spicy, just smoky flavor. It works really good for especially summer vegetables.
I'm not too late, am I?
No, you're just in time. Just in time. These are 7 C's succotash. The letter C, not the ocean. What girl? Oh, that girl? Yeah, she can have some. She can have 2. You guys made it. Welcome to town. All the way from Grass Valley, huh? We got anybody else? You guys from town? Out of town? Sacramento? Okay, cool. I was supposed to be from Sacramento, but I got born here with it. Sure. Thank you. Oh, please, here, let me give you some cards. Oh, nice. Yeah, I have to come today then. Yeah, we're fortunate enough, Randy introduced us to Louisiana Stew, and I said, just telling her what I was going to make. I said, well, is she available today? Can she come by? I'll show her what I'm going to make, and I'll go back there and make it. I'll bring it out, and we'll see what she thinks. It happened to work out, so cool. Feel free if you guys have any questions. Hopefully I'll be able to answer them. I'm not sure if I can, but I'll do my best.
Like I said, we follow that recipe to the T. Where's the crawfish from?
This crawfish is actually out of Elk Grove, off the rice field. Yes. Patrick's the owner. He's right over here at my tent, the green tent.
Like I said, he's the one that looks like a lucky.
Yeah.
I kid.
Feel free to go over there and talk to him. He's a very, very going guy. Knows a lot about whiskey, a lot about Ireland and the Irish culture. I'm still learning. Come on up, don't be shy, ladies. You like some gazpacho? It's a bay shrimp gazpacho. Kind of almost like a ceviche.
Thanks again, appreciate it.
Hey, thank you guys, I appreciate it. Have a nice day, okay?
What kind of cocktail would be good with that recipe?
Pacifica?
Yeah, I think people get turned off.
Go good with it?
I think people get turned off on hearing cold soup. It's actually tasty.
Can you just heat that soup up for me?
Well, we just got done.
We still have some samples though. Don't be shy. Yeah. Little cup. Yeah. Devin, so as I scrolled through history yesterday, guess who I ran into? Josie from Roman. First chapter. Yeah, they still make it. I don't know who makes it now, but somebody has it. Yeah, maybe we're couple water before we just get started.
You look different in real life than you do in the little viewport.
Nick! Folks from London? Little whiskey we should? Yeah. Yeah, tell them what deal. Twist your arm. Woo! Oh, my mic's up on base right now. I'll be right back.
Turn the mic off.
Turn the mic off. Yeah.
Yeah, give it yesterday. Turn the mic off.
Randy.
Walking over there talking.
Ready.
Hey, hey.
Ready. Ready. Get off.